Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Adelatul Atifah with ID 2321010600011. And here I will explain about the general overview of the article. The first, I will explain what the article is about. The title of the article is Promoting Vocabulary Building, Learning Motivation, and Cultural Identity Representation through digital storytelling for young Indonesian learners of English as a foreign language. Explore the effectiveness of using digital storytelling or DST with local cultural content as a pedagogical tool in Indonesian EFL classrooms. The authors address the limitation of traditional textbook-based methods in engaging students and connecting English learning to their lives. The study investigates how integrating local culture into DST projects impacts students' motivation, vocabulary acquisition, and ability to express their cultural identities. The research is grounded in the idea that learning is enhanced when students can connect new concepts to existing cultural knowledge. It argues that by creating digital stories based on their own cultural experiences, students are more motivated to learn, develop a stronger sense of identity, and improve their vocabulary. The study involved 30 junior high school students in East Java, Indonesia, who participate in the ST project, where they developed narrative based on local cultural themes. Data were collected through focus group interviews, student journals, classroom observations, and the digital stories themselves, and then analyzed using multimodal transcription and thematic content analysis. The study found that DST, when rooted in local culture, provides an engaging and meaningful context for language learning. Students were able to integrate and express their identities through their stories, actively participate in meaning making using image and multimodal resource, and enhance their vocabulary acquisition. The author concludes that DST offers a valuable approach for EFL teachers to integrate authentic and communicative learning experiences into the curriculum, addressing the challenges of a packed curriculum and the need for more engaging teaching methods. And then for the second point is relevance and significance of the study. This study is significant because it addresses a gap in English as a foreign language or EFL pedagogy in Indonesia, where traditional textbook-based and grammar-focused teaching methods often fail to engage students or connect English learning to their everyday life. By introducing DST that incorporates local culture, the research demonstrates a way to make English learning more meaningful, authentic, and motivating for young learners. This approach is especially relevant in today's digital age, where students are accustomed to multimodal communication and digital media. The findings highlight the potential for DST to enhance language proficiency, foster cultural pride, and support the development of intercultural communication skills, outcomes that are crucial for effective language education in a globalist world. For the next point is what can I learn from this study in terms of topic, theory, or methods. For the first topic, the study focused on digital storytelling as a project-based learning strategy in the FL classrooms, emphasizing the role of local culture in language acquisition and identity formation. For the second is theory. The research draws on theories of cultural conceptualization, which posit that learning is maximized when students cannot new knowledge to their existing cultural experiences. It also references the importance of multimodal learning and authentic communication for language development. And then the method, the study employs a qualitative case study approach using multiple data sources, such as focus group interviews, students' reflective journals, classroom observations, and analysis of the DST products. Data are interpreted through multimodal transcription and thematic content analysis, providing a comprehensive understanding of how DST impacts vocabulary development, motivation, and cultural identity representation. This research offers valuable insight into innovative, culturally responsive teaching methods and demonstrate the practical benefits of integrating technology and local culture into language education for young learners.
Okay, for the next is I will analyze how the title is contrasted. The title is Promoting Vocabulary Building, Learning Motivation, and Cultural Identity Representation through Digital Storytelling for Young Indonesian Learners of English as a Foreign Language. Okay, for the construct, I will give in red color. The construct is digital storytelling. The focus I will give in yellow color. It is promoting vocabulary building, learning motivation, and cultural identity representation. And then for the context, I will give in green color, that is young Indonesian learners of English as a foreign language. For the purpose is to explore the use of DST to improve vocabulary, motivation, and cultural identity among young Indonesian learners of English as a foreign language. Then for the next is abstract, I will summarize the main points. It is issue, gaps, focus, method, findings, and implication. In the article, I have highlight for the issue is red color, and then for the focus is green, method yellow, findings blue, and the implication is pink color. The summary of the issue from the abstract is limited attention to digital storytelling in the Indonesian EFL context, specifically regarding its potential to connect students' primary culture with English cultures. Traditional methods focus on grammar, leading to disengagement. And then for the gap is lack of research on using local culture-based DST materials at the junior high school level in Indonesia to enhance engagement and learning. For the focus is how DST helps Indonesian junior high school students make meaning in English through a local culture-based narrative project. Then for the method is a case study approach using qualitative data collection methods, including focus group interviews, student reflective journals, classroom observation, and the DST product itself. Data was analyzed through multimodal transcription and thematic content analysis. For the findings is DST is an effective tool for students to express their identity and making meaning through local culture stories, increasing student motivation, reducing stress, and improving communication skills. It also builds a bridge between familiar lexical content and less familiar English cultural content, enhancing engagement and achievement. And for the last is implication is DST project-based learning can assist EFL teachers in integrating authentic and communicative learning experiences into a paid curriculum. And then in the introduction, I will identify the main issue or problem being addressed, describe how previous empirical studies respond to the issue, explain the research gap and contribution made by the current study. Okay, for the main issue, I will give in yellow color, for the previous empirical studies in green, and then the research gap and contribution in blue. The main issue is in Indonesian EFL context, teachers often rely on textbook materials with an emphasis on grammar, leading to a lack of engagement and limited communication skills among students. The previous empirical studies have shown that integrating local culture into language teaching can motivate students and build a bridge between their cultural identities and that of foreign language speaker, and DST is a good tool for this. Also, DST projects support cooperative learning and the development of useful communicative skills. The research gap and contribution is prior research has explored DST in multicultural or intercultural settings. This study explored whether local culture could be used as a bridge to EFL learning in a monocultural context in Indonesia, specifically to enhance motivation and vocabulary development. Okay, for the literature review, I will identify the theoretical foundation or main concept used, mention relevant literature that supports the theory in the study's context, and then discuss the author's stance, like how do they position themselves in relation to existing studies. Okay, for the theoretical foundation or main concept, I give in red color. The relevant literature, there are three. For the cultural integration, I give in green, digital storytelling in yellow, and then DST and language skills in pink. The theoretical foundation or main concept is the study is grounded in the theories of cultural conceptualization, project-based learning, and multimodality. Cultural conceptualization, particularly Serifian's work in 2011, posits that connecting with a foreign language and culture is based on shared cultural understandings. Project-based learning is used as a pedagogical approach to enhance engagement and meaningful learning. The concept of multimodality is central, recognizing that young learners are accustomed to interacting with various digital media. For the relevant literature, for the first is culture integration. Chen and Lei 2019 support the idea that integrating local culture motivates students and bridge their culture identities with those of foreign language speakers. Kumaravadi Yelu 2001 emphasized that drawing on learners' local culture encourages pride in their own identity and forms the basis of intercultural communication. And then the next is digital storytelling. Lambert 2013 provide a definition of DST, while Oscos and Elola 2016, Sadik 2008, and Taylor Marone, Tayar, and Mueller 2018 highlight DST as a tool to explain complex concepts using narrative and metaphor. And then DST and language skills. Liu, Tai, and Liu 2018 note that DST activities can enhance students' speaking skill. Vinogradova et al. 2011 and Anderson and McLeroy 2017 found that DST in multicultural contexts engaged young people in language learning and motivated them to develop intercultural narrative stories. Kim and Lee 20 and 21 also found that DST encouraged students to reflect on their learning experiences and articulate their identity as community members. Then for the author's stance, is the author positioned themselves by acknowledging the existing literature on DST and its positive impacts on language learning, particularly in multicultural or intercultural settings. They identify a gap in the research, the exploration of local culture as a bridge to EFL learning in a monocultural context, specifically in Indonesia. The authors aim to explore whether local culture can enhance motivation and vocabulary development in this specific context, addressing the limitation of traditional textbook-based approach in Indonesian EFL classroom.
Okay, for the next is research method. The research design. The research employed a qualitative case study approach, which according to Yin 2014 is suitable for investigating a contemporary phenomenon in depth within its real-world context. This approach allowed the researchers to explore the complexities of implementing DST in a specific educational setting. The research context and participant recruitment. The study was conducted at one junior high school in East Java, Indonesia. The researchers recruit 30 students, 12 male and 18 female. Aged 12 to 14 to voluntarily participate. The students had English class twice a week for 90 minutes each time. Before the study, the researchers conducted an informal interview with the teacher and observed the class. The intervention. The study involved an intervention using a local culture-based DST narrative project. Students develop materials through negotiation, drawing on their cultural experiences. And then the data collection and analysis. For the data collection, focus group interviews. The researchers conducted focus group interviews to gather students' perceptions and experiences with DST. Students' reflective journals. Students keep reflective journals to document their learning process, challenges, and insight during the DST project. Classroom observation. The researchers observed classroom activities to understand how students interacted with the DST project and each other. And then the DST product. The digital stories created by the student were analyzed to assess their content, creativity, and integration of local culture. And then for the data analysis, for the first is multimodal transcription. Multimodal transcription was used to capture and analyze the various modes on communication used in the DST projects, such as text, image, audio, and video. The thematic content analysis. Thematic content analysis was employed to identify recurring themes and patterns in the data, providing insight into the impact of DST on students' identity expression, engagement, and vocabulary acquisition. Okay, maybe that's all from me. And last I say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.